Dave Mary's not innocent. That's Jockey arriving now. Lorraine Kelly has slept with Gentle Ben.
Well, I've been poster and read. Oh, fuck's sake.
I feel like a literary chancer. I'm just somebody who told daft stories on the internet and has somehow become a published author and is about to do things like the I Write Book Festival and stuff, and I'm sitting here having a beer with Christopher Brookmyre of all people. It's weird for me, but really pleasant. It's been great. I always wondered what I wanted to be when I grew up. When I was a kid, it was always the classic, I wanted to be a football player, I wanted to be in a band, and that kind of general progression. And me now at 36 kind of thought, I wouldn't mind being a writer. And it's a hard game to make a living from. But I work 9 to 5. Writing is still very much a hobby and something that I would love to do more of. And I'll go and do another book. I've got ideas for it. But it's been wonderful. It's been an experience. And there's been wonderful moments like walking past Waterstones the other week and seeing their I Write display, like my book was right in the middle of it, and I kind of stood there kind of agog at it for a few minutes thinking, fuck's sake, that was me. Almost kind of grabbing the homeless boy next to it, kind of who's selling the biggest, going, that's my book, check that. So there's wee moments like that kind of makes me on cloud nine, I guess. It's been a lot of fun.
I've been on Pie and Bovril pretty much since the beginning, more than a decade, and I saw references to this and people making remarks to it, and I thought I'll go and check this out. But rather than just read a wee bit, I think I read a wee bit and thought this is very promising, so I then went on, cut and pasted the entire thing and took it away with me for the weekend. Was reading it in bed and getting told to stop by my wife because I was shaking the bed so much with the laughter. So I thought it was hysterical, and as soon as I read it I thought this really ought to be a book. The narrative structure lends itself to that. It's got endless possibilities. Took the book on holiday with me, and I actually had to stop reading it at certain points because I literally couldn't see. I was crying. I couldn't see the pages through the tears. Actually, it was just pretty good going considering it was on my Kindle. At least I wasn't, smearing the pages. But give the screen a wipe every so often. It does have a good story arc in there. The character of Lloyd does develop from the beginning to the end, when he learns a great moral lesson involving sheds.
The first team squad gathered late morning for our pre-match meal ahead of Wraith Rovers' visit. It's a ritual you might assume consists of carbohydrates consumed with precision timing to maximise energy levels during the game. I'd be interested to hear what a nutritionist had to say about professional sportsmen munching their way through complimentary pies in a pub near the ground as a means of preparing for a top-of-the-table clash. Eat up, you cunts! If you didn't finish your pie, there'll be nae scampi fresh for pudding. Jockey was holding court, topless, wearing his usual jogging bottoms and a pair of muddy football boots. His very presence continued to shake me to the core. The pre-match warm-up was unorthodox, to say the least. An hour before kick-off, the team and coaching staff were called through to the pub's function suite. Everyone bar me was drinking, albeit with the degree of professionalism that comes with 3-pint maximum, no spirits rule. Right lads, who's ken the score? Fucking pre-match dance-off. Twa crews on either side of the room. Abby takes a turn in the middle and nae moves featuring on video for Jason Evans versus Run DMC. Shitey remix. Fucking Pat and Evan would have done a better job than that. The squad split into two and formed lines facing each other. When everyone adopted a cross-armed stance and scowled mockingly at the man opposite, I did the same. The gaffer had moved behind the DJ booth and was now sporting a pair of gold-plated headphones. A hip-hop beat kicked in and he showed off some hugely impressive turntable skills before picking up the microphone and guiding proceedings. Dark blue killer bees, we're on the swarm. Ain't no thing but a D thing. Ken I? Chrissy Riley sauntered into the middle of the room and started body popping. F-shag Jason, F-shag Kylie. Check out Chrissy motherfucking Riley. Came the rhyme from MC Mental Bastard behind the decks. He continued, offering words of instruction for the game ahead. Get right through that Grant Anderson in the first 5 minutes, Chrissy. Boy said you've got the lyrics that it's raining men tattooed on your back. You going to attack that? I don't give a fuck. A hyped up Chrissy finished his routine and slipped back into place in the line. With the exception of Doug, who was loudly demanding that the gaffer play something with a tune, the entire squad took a turn dancing to the hip-hop and electro soundtrack that Jockey was, quite brilliantly, it must be said, throwing down. The unquestioning way that he went about the task and the practiced nature of their move suggested this was no one-off. Each player's instructions amount to little more than an order to get right through someone in the first 5 minutes for some odd non-footballing reason. Jason Thompson was apparently telling people Davo Millen had sold him inferior quality marijuana. And a pornographic film featuring half the Rovers team and Eddie McGlone's mother called Bone After Bone for Mrs. McGlone was allegedly doing the rounds. After Fondoo's Gangnam-style dance saw his time in the spotlight end on the barrage of abuse that Dong Chu didn't even try to interpret, it was my turn. With it came a distinct change in musical direction. As 10cc's I'm Not in Love made for a somewhat incongruous finale to an otherwise upfront, well-executed old-school set, Jockey announced that everyone else should start making their way towards Dens. As they filed out looking very much ready to get stuck into Rovers, the blinds fell down, the lights dimmed, and a mirror ball's reflections shimmered across the dance floor. I went to follow them, but the gaffer bounced out from behind the decks to intercept me, shouting, "Hiya, Lloyd! Hiya, pal! You dancing?" Involuntarily stepping back as he approached, I managed to stutter, are you asking? His features softened ever so slightly and his chest puffed out. I'm asking if you're dancing. He lifted his chin, maintaining a stern look as he stroked his mustache. I'm dancing if you're asking. He pulled me tight to his half-naked body and pushed my head down so I was nuzzling his right shoulder. We swayed gently in unison to the music. Lloyd, Big Jock couldn't help but notice you weren't drinking special like everyone else in the bar there. What's the day with you? I tried lifting my face off his shoulder to reply, but he pushed it back in place. My response that I was teetotal was therefore rather muffled, though clearly understood. Taking me by a handful of short hair, he yanked my neck back and looked at me with wide, shocked eyes. You didn't drink? A football player? My God, that's like being a priest and no raping bairns. Jesus, fuck, laddie. You'll never make a football player if you didn't drink. He shoved my head back to his shoulder. We'll hate to get this sorted out, Lloyd. Me and you, at the Fair Muir, on the special. Your career pretty much depends on it, eh? I was in no position to argue. We swayed as one until the music faded to silence. That's what I'm talking about. And with that, he dragged me by the hand out to the street. We caught up with the rest of the lads at the top of Provost Road, and Jockey immediately burst into song. Walking down the Provy Road, take kick, fuck out, United, away the lads. The whole team joined in with him, as did the Dundee fans making their way to the ground. As we turned into Sandeman Street and made our way towards the players' entrance, we passed a small band of Rovers fans in their team's colours. They were also in mood for song, and were belling out a number about people in Dundee living in slums. This did not go down well with our manager. Oh, you Fife cunts. You getting fucking wide. Dundee's fucking Teckle. He stopped right in front of the Rovers supporters with his arms outstretched in challenge. Boisterous and well-oiled as they no doubt were, the Fifers knew a proper nutter when they saw one. Especially as they recognised him as the manager of the opposition. As they quietened down and adopted a look of submission, Jockey took advantage of his dominant position. Train station, 6 o'clock. Oh, you cunts plus whatever else is in your mob against me, a couple of lads for the utility, and as many locky Fleet boys that can be bothered hopping on the 28 down the tune. Fleet rule, he said, making L-shape with his arms. While the gaffer didn't resist as a few of the lads guided him away, he continued to shout abuse over his shoulder as he made his way into the ground. These colours didn't run. Fuck running. I just walk up and kick fuck out every cunt. Casuals, scarfers, women, bairns, dogs, fucking Abbey. Wasn't church here, Rovers? I realised I was about to share a dugout with this certifiable lunatic and felt the colour drain from my face. Reflecting once again, this wasn't how I had imagined professional football to be. I meekly followed the pack into the main entrance for my first game as a Dundee player. Thank you very much.
The best word is cunto. I tell you why, because my auntie, who's a dear little lady of around 60 years old, now has the word cunto in her vocabulary. Thanks to the book. She read it, she liked it, and she was in the local pub in Dundee with my parents, and she proclaimed quite loudly, asking, the word cunto, is it a term of endearment? And apparently the whole pub turned around to see. So yeah, she uses it often. My wee cousin Bob sent me a text saying, thank you very much for introducing the word cunto to my mother's vocabulary.
A wee while ago, back in maybe the 80s, there was more of a market for unabashed comic fiction. Writers like Tom Holt, and Tom Sharp, the Wilt books, all those kind of things. They were, they were socially satirical in a certain way, but they didn't have a more serious undertaking. They were just trying to be funny, just trying to be inventively funny. And that's kind of gone. A lot of my early work was trying to be very funny, but it usually had a fairly serious ideological agenda underpinning it. I think football, by its nature in Scotland, is always funny, and it's at its worst when people are taking it too seriously. So a book that finds the intrinsic hilarity of Scottish football, I think, that book was just waiting to be written, but I didn't think it was ever going to be as funny as this particular example of it. What was less lending itself to publication was the fact that he'd get sued by half of Scotland. So obviously he needed some other way of bringing the story to life in a way that wasn't going to make lawyers rich.
We did actually put a document together and send it to a lawyer, solicitor, whatever, who was well versed in publications and whatnot, and he read through it, and the comments he made were actually hysterical, because it was comments like the point where he called where Jockey suggests that Lorraine Kelly has slept with Gentle Ben the bear. No one could possibly think that to be true, therefore it's a work of fiction, it's satire, so you'll be fine. Same going for like Davy Neri apparently stealing women's clothes off washing lines and wheeling into court and being found not guilty. So it was so ridiculous that we actually got away with it, and to date we haven't been sued, and long may that continue. Though I actually kind of think that a little bit of controversy would boost sales, Yes, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great experience. Even if it ends right now, if this is the only thing I ever do, it's been wonderful. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Right, good, because I'm fucking freezing.
Yeah.